bass.
Gangster. We back.
Hey.
We back. Let me read it. Bro, what's wrong? You drunk? I'm not doing the handshake, right? Sorry, y'all. That's listening. We doing a handshake and she messing it up.
What up, y'all?
Hold on, let me get your hair real quick because it's in your eye. I don't want it to get in your eye. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, King.
Yo, what are you on today?
Yo, we back at it. Episode 5. No. Episode 5.
First of all, episodo is not how you say episode in Spanish.
Listen, I ain't find out
we
what
dealt
how
with
to say
that episode 4. This is not how you say it.
All right, I promise for episode 6, I'm gonna know it. We back at it, y'all. Another episode. More jewels, more gems, more conversational pieces for y'all. And we got another good one. What are we scoffing about today?
We're gonna scoff about, first of all, inviting all new listeners.
I always forget.
We gotta do this
I just
religiously.
be ready to get to the goods.
Listen, right. If you are just tuning in, you never watched an episode before, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, like it, comment, make sure you share it. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching or listening rather on all streaming or podcast platforms, be sure to like our page, follow us, download the episodes. Mm-hmm. That helps us out a great deal.
Thank y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you for everybody that has been downloading. Yeah. We see the downloads. We see the analytics. We love you. And we appreciate you. Today, we are going to get into...
We're going to scoff.
We're going to scoff about compromise in relationships. Compromise.
We in sync today.
So here's the deal. I remember when we first got married, right? Uh-huh. So we've been married 7 years. We first got married 2014. Mm-hmm. And see, there's always going to be something that's like the turning point of a relationship where you realize I can work with this person, or this is going to be tough. Right?
What you about to say? I don't like how you setting this up.
I just think every relationship has that moment. No, for us it was a good thing. For us it was like, oh, okay, this compromise worked out okay. I like to call this like the not the starting point, but like the pivotal compromise for us.
Okay.
In our relationship. So when we first got married, Amanda used to do the dishes. And she would put the utensils in a certain direction, like upward, right? Like, so like the forks and knives and spoons would like point up.
All of them.
Right? Now, when I do the dishes, I turn it downward, right? So like, in my head, I'm like, this is just how my father taught me how to do dishes. So you put the stuff downward. To me, he taught me like, you don't point the forks and knives and stuff like that up because you could go reach for something out of the dish drainer, could cut yourself, it could hurt you. So if you're not drying it right away, you always point it down. Man is like, yeah, but if you point it down, then you won't know what's what. Because sometimes if you buy a set or something, the spoon or the fork might have the same handle, the same design. Right. So we got into it, y'all. No, we weren't like fighting, like
it was like a friendly dispute.
It was like a friendly. I just couldn't believe in my head. I'm like, do you realize how dangerous that is to just be leaving knives and forks pointed up? And she was like, do you realize how many times you might have to dig into things
to find what you need to find the right utensil?
So in my head, I'm like, one of them has a worse impact than the other. Like sticking my hand to find if I need you know what I mean? If I'm trying to go for a knife and sticking my hand has a way worse impact than like digging it and getting a spoon. Like, I gotta go back again. Like, it's like it's not that big a deal, bro.
It's
like
not.
if you get it the second time, you'll get it. What Leah said, dust yourself off and try again. You feel me? So this was the first time in our marriage we was like, yo, we really couldn't see eye to eye about this joint. I'm like, yo, this just doesn't make sense to me. Your way is dangerous. And her way was like, your way is not time efficient. I'm
Neither one of us wanted to budge.
We weren't budging, right? So we came up with this idea. And I was like, all right, what if the least harmful thing is a spoon, right? What if the spoons we leave upward?
Yeah.
Right? The dangerous items we point downward because the knives and forks have different handles.
Yeah.
So those you will know what's the difference. And the spoon, which might have the same handle as a fork, will be pointing upward. So you'll always know it's a spoon. And that was our first successful compromise.
Yeah, as a married couple.
Yeah, where the way and to this day, we got a dishwasher and everything, and we still do our dishes by hand. Yeah. And we just like old school when it comes to.
No, that's I Deserve.
That's I Deserve.
Sorry.
First of all, we're not loving hip hop in here, right? That was a song from Lil Scrappy's mama, but we ain't doing that right now. So to this day, 7 years later, we still turn our spoons upward, forks and knives go downward. And that's our first compromise. And I think it led to a healthy
habit of
a healthy habit and a start
of how to like address differences.
Nah, we don't see eye to eye about everything. Let's be very clear. But at
least we like set the tone for like respecting each other. What the other is bringing to the table. Even if you don't agree, we at least know that there's some middle ground that can be reached.
Facts.
I think.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna ask you a question, but you go ahead.
No, go ask.
No, I was gonna ask what. Like if you had to define like compromise, what would that look like, or what would be a definition for compromise in your perspective? But it sounds like you were about to say something, so go ahead, do your thing.
I'm just kind of heading into our first point, but I think that just the process of compromising and respecting each other's differences and knowing that, like you said, we're not always going to see eye to eye, and we're going to have to either give in to the other person or negotiate in a way that is, we partly win, partly lose, you know what I mean? So I think the last few years has taught us that we have to learn to tolerate what the other person, not only does. Let me slow down. Learn to tolerate that not only is your spouse a different person and may have different perspectives on certain things, but to take it a little further, that we also have to learn to tolerate what the other person loves.
If it's something you don't.
If
love.
It's something that you're not really crazy about, right?
I feel you.
I'll use this as an example. I don't have my license. Growing up in Brooklyn, just taking transit, buses and trains everywhere, I kind of slacked on it. Needless to say, Deshaun does most of the driving, all of the driving. Deshaun does all of the driving. And I've given him liberty, or we've agreed that he gets to choose what we listen to in the car because, in order to keep him alert. Yeah. And, if if it's late at night or just he's driving, he needs.
I get choice.
He gets privilege in deciding what we listen to. So most of the time we're listening to Undisputed or.
Shout out to Uncle Shay Shay.
Uncle Shay Shay.
Skip Bay Bay.
The legends. The Bull Jive. Yeah. So we listen to Undisputed or, sometimes it is mutually beneficial, like sermons or songs that we both like. Or sometimes it's stuff that I'm not really crazy about, like battle rap, right?
You love battle
so
rap.
I learned to tolerate, some of the stuff, like I said, we both like, but there's other things that it's just like, all right, let me just deal with it because he's driving.
Tight. I be listening to Mad Battles in the car.
I'm like, how many face-offs? How many? It never ends. There's always like a bunch of just stuff to listen to. But on the flip side,
I was about to say we ain't gonna sit here.
We not. I'm getting there. I'm setting it up.
You gonna tell my compromise? Let me tell my own compromises. How you gonna tell my compromises?
So you compromise.
Like I don't care. I am a poet. I am a rapper. I am a writer. But I'm not going to lie. This is going to sound mad weird. I do not like sitting and listening to mad spoken word back to back. I don't know what it is. I just can't do it.
So for like the Pia tours, mostly for y'all that are unfamiliar, the Poets in Autumn tour with like Jackie Hill Perry and Ezekiel and
amazing
Chris
writers,
Webb,
amazing poets.
Every year, you know, they haven't been in person since the pandemic, but like the couple years that we went, I'm like, I'm getting our VIP tickets to the Pia tour. They're gonna be in New York City on this specific date. He's like, do we have to go? And I'm like, yeah, we gotta go.
I love them. They're fire. Yeah. They're fire. They're so fire. But I don't know. I have like a low tolerance for like back to back spoken word. It's like a certain like cadence they have that I just like, I don't know what it is, but I sit through it. So that's just one of the things, you know what I mean? That's just one of the things. Yeah. But yeah, I think all relationships require some level of sacrifice and compromise of your own stuff. And like you put it, I like the way you put it, learning to tolerate what the other person loves, right? Because sometimes they'll love something that you don't quite love, but you tolerate it, unless it's toxic, of course. But you tolerate it so that, everybody gets a little bit of something. Yeah.
And tolerate not in like an ugly sense. You know what I mean? Like we mean
don't make them feel bad about their preferences.
In addition to that, I think that compromise requires a lot of humility.
What you mean by that?
I just think that when you go to the table and you're presented with options, it's important to know that there are alternative ways to do things that, while you might think is effective and efficient for you, the compromise or the outcome of the compromise is something that's going to benefit like the whole house. You know what I mean? So kind of going back to the opening story of the knives, spoons, and forks. While I felt like it was just something that I'm used to, and I've never been stabbed with a knife or a fork. I have.
I lived a different past, but we'll talk about that later.
I've never been stabbed with a knife or a fork while going in the dish rack for something. If you feel like it's dangerous to you, then I'm going to respect that because your way was, it was safer for the house. It was just more effective for the house. And it's not hurting me to get used to turning down a knife and a fork. You know what I mean? It's a better way. And it just helps us to, like, outside of our home, to be more understanding to like all of humanity. You know what I mean? So like little, practicing this in the house in small situations, when we go outside and we're presented with, conflicting, beliefs or ways or whatever it is, it just causes us, whether we agree or not, just to understand people better. You know what I mean?
I like that. That practice in the home. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie though. One compromise, I still can't. I just need, maybe y'all could drop it in the comments. Maybe if you follow us, you could email us and give it. I gotta throw this wrench in here, but I just don't understand the toilet seat thing. I just don't.
Ladies.
I don't get it.
I don't want it.
I don't get it. Like what? Put like
just
this.
Put it down.
Just put it up.
No.
Here's the thing. We have 2 bathrooms, right? We have a bathroom in our bedroom. We have a main bathroom in the house. I have 2 daughters. I have a wife. You mean to tell me every bathroom I go to, I have to touch y'all booty seats? Like,
all right, don't make it sound nasty and dirty.
It doesn't have to be nasty and dirty, but everybody has a butt, right? Okay, y'all sit on there, right? So whether I go to the main bathroom, whether I'm using a bathroom in our bedroom, I have to touch y'all booty seats and lift up the seat. It's like, I just don't get. You're like, just put it down. I was like, okay, just put it up.
Because let me tell y'all.
Tell me what's the difference in like you putting it up for me or me putting it down for you. I don't really understand why it's a big deal. Women are like, you should just put it down for us. And I'm like,
I'm going to tell
but why?
It may be more of like a societal norm where
help me understand. I genuinely want to know. I don't get it.
I'm just giving you my perspective, taking a stab at it. It may be more of a societal norm where people feel like men putting the seat down is a form of chivalry, possibly. But there have also been times where this has happened to me more than once.
No way. God, I don't like where I think what you're about to say. I think I know what you're about to say has happened to you, and I'm a little afraid to laugh at you in your face. Have you fallen in the toilet?
I have, like in the middle of the night. I'm not saying this happened like, I don't think it's even happened 10 times. If I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I don't turn the light on because I'm trying to keep myself asleep. So like I go,
bro, what?
Keep it myself.
You can't keep yourself asleep when you already awake, bro.
I try to keep so that when I get back in the bed, falling back asleep is easy.
But
it has happened where you left the seat up and like I'll go back. It's 3:00 in the morning and now falling into the toilet because
I would have heard that.
Not like splashing, not like booty touching the water, but I just mean like too far down where it's like, oh crap, he left the seat up. On my mama, on our kids, I promise you, I haven't gone like where I got stuck or like I made skin to water contact.
I just don't.
But
okay, is like that the rationale though?
For me personally,
because I feel like I've never heard that.
I feel like it's my.
I'm not saying you're a klutz or anything like that, but I've just never heard that rationale. So that I can respect that. All jokes aside, I can genuinely respect that. Whenever I'm like in a conversation about this or ask women about this, they have no rationale. Just like because you should. It's like, okay, why shouldn't it be the other way around? Like maybe why shouldn't you be done and then pull it up? You know what I mean? Like for me, it's different. Like everybody's household situation is not the same. But for me, I'm like, yo, I have a wife. I have 2 daughters. I don't live with any men but myself and God in my heart, right? Like I don't live with like any,
and God don't got
God ain't really got a gender. He's a spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, and he don't use the toilet, right? Like so for me, it's so weird that it's like, dag, so I gotta put it down for everybody. Nobody put it up for me. So I think in our household, I have a unique gripe that I'm like,
I can
why do I have to put it down?
I respect that.
And don't get it twisted. I've been putting it down.
Yeah, you have.
Like, but I don't really have rationale for it. It's like I don't get it. If you need me to
make a more of an effort moving forward, we've never talked about this.
No, you don't have to put it up for me.
Well, I'll do that.
No, you know why? Because I sometimes have to sit down too to get rid of some weight. You feel me? So
you kind of putting it down for yourself too, then.
Sometimes, but not all the time. All right, well, we'll talk about that compromise later. All right. So, but yeah, like I kind of want to like pivot a little bit from us into like how compromise helps the girls understand how to communicate and respect each other.
Okay.
Right? So like for us, we kind of like make the girls take turns with the TV. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like it helps them respect each other's difference. Because funny enough, even though they're only like a year and a half apart, they actually don't like watching the same stuff for the most part. Like they might, like watching a Moana or, you know what I'm saying, Coco or something like that. But,
Zara likes binging on Michael Jackson and cupcake videos.
Zara she loves watching how to bake. She loves watching Michael Jackson. She probably gets it honestly from me. I was a big Michael Jackson fan when I was younger, so it's a little weird to watch her obsession with his dancing. But Yaya likes, like
more mature things.
Mature, like teenage
She be trying to watch High School Musical. I'm like, bro, you're 6.
Bro, you're 6 years old. Like, so she like to watch the like Sister Act 2 and see the performances and see stuff like that. So they don't like watching the same stuff. But it's like, okay, well, Zara, who watched the last show? Okay, you did? All right, so it's Yaya's turn. Right? So they'll sit and watch each other's show and wait because they know they got to compromise with that TV time. Sometimes Zara will watch a Michael Jackson video on YouTube, and if it's only 3 minutes, she like, Daddy, Yaya watched a whole episode of her show.
She knows that
that show was 30 minutes. So she's like, don't I get to watch like 5 Michael Jacksons?
Right.
Like, dang, you do get to watch like 5 Michael Jacksons.
They may not understand. It's like, Yaya's like, but she watched 5 Michael Jacksons. I only watched 1 show. And it's like, but the time equivalency, you got to balance it out. So
exactly. And they start learning. They start learning that compromise. And I think it's helping them to remain, or at least I hope, let's say this, it's helping them to remain open-minded about other people's preferences, about understanding other people's desires, their likes. So like when they come in contact with somebody, it's not like, you like, what?
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like, oh, I never had that kind of food. Or, I never been to this restaurant. Oh, I never been dancing at this specific club or something. You know what I mean? Like they'll have more awareness and openness to like other people's like cultures, their differences, backgrounds, their creeds and things like that. So, and I hope that will be the fruit of understanding the small things like compromise with like a TV show. You know what I mean? And I think that that compromising in that small day-to-day stuff will eventually lead to in our relationship. Yeah. It leads to support of other people's bigger stuff. What I mean by that is like, if I respect that, Amanda wants to watch, I don't know, a criminal show.
We going back there again?
Yeah, I know we talked about that last episode.
That's crazy.
But, if I respect, like, Amanda don't want to watch this specific show on Netflix, she wants to watch this show. I think what it leads to and what it models for the girls is like, mommy and daddy know how to work together. So now it leads to more of a wholesome understanding of like your bigger stuff. So like your dreams, your visions, your goals. It's
that's
like,
true.
It's like, if mommy says she's working on something tonight, I got to make the compromise and sacrifice. If I was going to do something, I got to take that back seat and let mommy grind, let mommy get to what she need to get to and knock it out. Same thing for me, as you know, like if I need to prep for a sermon because I got to preach in a few days or something, or if I'm preparing for a battle or writing a song, you do an amazing job. One thing I'm like super grateful for is like, you always know like, oh, he got to get into a certain zone. I don't even have to like request sometimes. Sometimes you just like, girls, let's go outside. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to make y'all go outside, but the fact that you took a walk with them in the Barnes and Nobles or Starbucks or something like that, it just, gives me the space that I need to do what I need to do. Yeah. When you in class virtually all pandemic, girls, y'all too loud. Come in the room with me or go into your bedroom. Mommy's in class. You know what I'm saying? But I need to. Okay, well, come to daddy. Daddy, you'll get it. But mommy's in class. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think understanding each other's day-to-day smaller compromises where we sacrifice, it leads to respecting each other's bigger dreams, bigger visions,
that's a fact,
bigger goals,
that's a fact.
And you get the support from each other that's needed for you to be as successful as you need to be in what you're working on. You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me? You feel like I'm giving you like some more? Okay. Be all right? All right, cool. Just making sure I'm doing okay.
That's super important though, because I think that compromise is an ongoing process. Like you can't expect to just, sacrifice this one thing or negotiate this one thing and expect to never encounter, any other type of sacrifice ever again. And one thing that comes to mind for me right now is like when I went back for my undergrad degree, you at the same time were also thinking of going back to pursue your master's degree.
Right.
But we had the conversation and kind of weighed pros and cons and, what was the best for our situation at the time. And you were willing to put put off your pursuits for a few years so that I could go back and get my undergrad degree and finish something that I never started finish something that I go back and complete something that I didn't get a chance to finish that was put on pause for a couple years rather than you starting a brand new journey. You know what I mean? So we compromised in that regard and you sacrificed going back to grad school for me to finish my undergrad degree. And then, I was able to, thank God, successfully finish that. And then now we're in a situation where you're in a place now where you are able to do it, to go back to get your grad degree because, we set it up to where it would work for our house. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not that you gave it up forever. It's just something that was put on hold and something that we had to, make work for our specific situation.
And I think it worked. I mean, listen, last year when I got accepted into Princeton and uprooted us and moved us to New Jersey, you were like, I was the one with reservations. You were like, bruh, you don't realize you just sacrificed mad years of your life so that I can get like my undergrad degree. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just felt like that's what I was supposed to do. It's like, no, we moving. Let's go. We headed to Jersey. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's get it. If you with it, I'm with it. So it just worked out. And then I think now, watching you go from no degrees to having more degrees than me is something I'm really proud of. And it came with some of that compromise. And now watching you support me while I finish up my graduate experience is super dope. So whatever, if y'all out there, whatever it is that, you know, the other is really yearning for or going after, try to support them in the small stuff, the day to day. And you'll find that you create a habit of learning how to compromise for their bigger visions and goals. So, you know, that's kind of dope.
My father always taught me to thank God first thing in the morning, because last night could have been your last night. We don't know when our last breath will be. So if you love somebody, give them their flowers while they can smell them.
All right, so to close out, y'all, with this episode, of course, we're gonna do a this or that. So before we get into that, I think I want to leave with like our closing point on like compromise and like how to function. That could be like a good takeaway. And for me, it's a lot of times I think we need to change our mindset of what compromise means. A lot of times in our minds, compromise means in a relationship that we're losing part of ourselves. Right? And whenever you feel like you're losing part of yourself, you are going to guard it, right? Because you want to protect you.
Yeah.
But in a healthy compromise, I'm not talking about somebody that's wearing you out, never reciprocating. I'm not, let's be very clear about that. I'm not talking about an imbalanced and toxic relationship where someone is constantly draining from somebody, but never depositing, never restoring, never seeing eye to eye with this mutuality in the giving of yourselves. I'm talking about healthy compromise. In healthy compromise, it leads to everybody winning. Right? So even though in the beginning it feels like you're giving up some of yourself, feels like you're giving up part of something, right? What it does lead to is a overall healthier atmosphere, which is actually good for you.
Yeah.
It's good for your mental health. It's good for your companionship. It's good for your social life. It's good for your physical health. To have good companionship and healthy compromise and healthy communication, that is healthy for your long-term lifespan. It's healthy for your blood pressure. It's healthy for your heart rate. It's healthy for those things matter.
Absolutely.
Those things really contribute to like physical, mental, and emotional health. So initially, there are times where it feels like you're giving something up, but I'm going to say this. Me waiting to go to graduate school so I could make sure I was working so I could be, you know, handling Amanda's tuition when necessary for undergrad and stuff like that. It led to a spark in her, and then watch her go and get her graduate degree before I even got my graduate degree. I was so happy for, we both was like tearing up almost, like I was so happy for her, and it was genuine happiness. And it made me happier to see that then it probably would have made me to even go back and get my graduate degree when I was first thinking about it. You know what I mean? So like the initial sacrifice of self eventually leads to a healthier happiness between the two. That I think can't even be debated which one feels more joyful and pleasurable. So, compromise is not always a bad thing. Just make sure it's healthy. And make sure everybody is winning and eating. And y'all will be all right.
Y'all will be all right.
So you want to...
Yeah, we kept this one short and sweet, right?
How about you?
You know the vibes. We can't close out our episode without doing our this or that.
This or that. Yo, if y'all like my jacket or my hat or her polo, freethesoulsclothing.com.
You already know what it is. Black owned, black operated, luxury, all that. All right.
Chatu Sabe. Let's go.
This or that. So, would you rather, excuse me, would you rather go to jail for 5 years or live life on the run?
I need you to clarify that. Am I going to jail, just going to jail for anything? Or like I'm going to jail, like, you saying live life on the run with you?
Yeah, like take a bid for me, I guess.
Also, like, the jail time is I'm taking a bid for you for 5 years.
Or we just live life on the run.
Gotcha.
Go my loud marker. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
5 years, baby.
Yeah, I'd rather take the jail time.
Yeah, babe.
I just, my nerves. I can't, the anxiety of.
Yeah, I got kids, man.
At least living life on the run. They need stability.
Come visit me. They can come visit me in jail.
Got sabbaticals and all that, right?
I mean, jail ain't something you just want to be playing around with. But you get a lot of respect in jail if they know. I know some people that's on the inside, so they know what you getting in for. I cover my wife. I took a bid for my wife. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you the man out here."
Get respect.
And
with good behavior, you might be out in like 3.5.
And I might get them conjugal visits.
I said sabbatical, Lord. I meant conjugal.
Oh, that's what you meant? I didn't know what you was talking about.
I meant conjugal.
I just let it rock. You meant conjugal visits?
Yo, bro, I said sabbatical.
Ooh, baby, come here. It's all right.
I know the word. It just slipped my mind.
It's all right.
All right, y'all.
Next question. Let's go.
What say you?
Would you rather go back to your wedding day and have a bigger wedding, like a more extravagant wedding, or just obtain your marriage license?
Like without the ceremony or nothing?
Without the ceremony. Dang. Do we get to keep the money that we spent on the wedding? Well, yeah, I guess that.
All right, we'll talk about that.
All right.
So go back in time and get a bigger wedding or no big wedding. But
same wedding is not the option.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
What you said?
Bigger wedding.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, our wedding was huge.
Yeah, we had like 200 people at our reception and at least 1,000 at the reception.
It was not 1,000. It was like
a couple 400. More than 1,000. Yeah, like a 200-person reception is a big wedding. How much bigger would you want it to get?
It's not that I want a bigger wedding. I actually don't. But I'd prefer to have another ceremony with the memories we had from that night and the value. I just feel like it was so lit, and like to this day, we still have family and cousins and friends that talk to us about. I had people that day that told me like they like love was restored again and stuff like that. Like I legit. Well, she ain't tell me that. I was talking about somebody else. So I don't know what Nobi told you. I don't tell her business. This is a podcast. She ain't give you permission to tell her business.
No, it's not like personal.
Okay.
I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. It's not super personal.
Too late now.
She said that our wedding day was the day that she fell in love with love. And she mentions that to me like pretty often. So
you see, like, so stuff like that, I can't take away the impact a young couple getting married and actually being serious about each other, like, had on so many young people that day.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So for me, it's like, since not having the same wedding is not an option.
Yeah, you just rather
then just take the bigger wedding, but I still need that ceremony because there was some really special magic that took place that day. That's my rationale.
It was incredible. But for me, it's like, I think the amount of money that we spent on it, I would have preferred it to...
I respect that.
Because we spent a pretty little penny. Yeah. I would have preferred to use it to, like, start our lives and set us up in a different way. And then, like, for now, like, we're planning a 10-year, celebration. So
chill, don't say that. We could everybody ain't getting invited. Don't say that.
I mean, needless to say.
Chill.
I think I would,
That's 3 years down the line. We ain't talking about that right now.
Yeah, we could do the big wedding then. You know what I mean? Anyway.
I hear you. No, I respect that. I respect that. Yeah, I respect that.
Last one. Would you rather, this is so weird. I always get the weird questions. Would you rather look 10 years older from the neck up, or would you rather look 10 years older from the neck down? So right now, would you rather have... how old are you? 32?
42.
Okay. So once you hit 25, like, everything is doubled up.
Yes, I'm 32, woman.
All right. Would you rather look 42 from the face up or 42 from the face down?
Oh, my gosh. Right. That is really tough.
Or neck up, I meant to say. Would you age 10 years up or 10 years... Yeah, I get it. I don't need to repeat it.
Dang. Wow.
10 years older from the neck up or neck down. All right.
Oh, shoot.
Put the wrong thing. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
I went with up.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, we lit.
I just don't want the soggy, sagging. Like,
body?
I don't care if I have a older face. Plus 42 right now.
Yeah, you can
It's
say that.
not-
I think we're
yeah.
gonna look good at 42. My rationale is more like gender based, not gonna lie. I just think like black men age well. So I just think that like I have good genes, like my grandfather are both older men
Yeah.
that look well for their age. My dad, people are always surprised when I tell them they're his age. So like I just think I trust that me at 42 is not going to look bad.
Gotcha.
I can't take, because they say stuff stopped working down for men at a certain age.
Not
and
at 42 though.
I don't know. I don't know, and I'm not there yet. So I ain't trying to take the risk of not being able
I
to
doubt it's 42. Okay,
do
can
my
we
thing, do
keep
my-
this PG?
do my thing.
All right, y'all. We're going to cut it short.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share if you're watching on YouTube.
Comment.
Hit that notification bell, comment as
Download.
well, engage in these conversations. If you are listening on any podcast streaming platform, be sure to download, like it, follow us, boost that algorithm for us a little bit. All right?
Another one in the books.
Books in los libros.
What we're not going to do is have this Spanish thing running.
You started to talk about episode is episodio. Like you wild
I got
out
y'all
here.
episode 6. Love
You know
y'all.
yo hablo español. Un poquito, pero
Peace out, y'all.
tú sabes. All right. We out.